right, kids, in today's episode, we're going to go to one of the places that during camp is one of the kids' favorite spots, and that's the archery range. And today, I have with me, once again, Gracie Capshaw, who during the summertime actually teaches archery. So she's going to share some fun and exciting things that they do here while on camp, but also some things that you can do at home. Gracie, what do you got in store for them?
Today I'm going to show them how to do proper stances, how to shoot a bow, and how they can do their own little bow at home.
All right, well, I'm going to step out of your way and let you go to work, okay?
All righty.
All right.
All right, so before we get started, there are some rules that we need to talk about. If you are at the range and you are shooting, make sure that your bow is always facing downrange and at a target. If you are at a range, make sure that there is nothing behind you that could potentially get hurt or harmed. As you can see, we have a tarp up behind our target, but you may not have a tarp to catch all your arrows that miss the target, so just be sure that you are aware that there's nothing behind you that could possibly get hit. So another thing that you do not want to do when you are shooting is you do not want to point the bow at someone, okay? Always keep your bow downrange. And another thing, never dry fire your bow. Dry firing is when you pull the string back without an arrow in it and release it. What this can do is this could shatter the limbs of the bow, and all that metal and plastic reflect back onto your face, and it really hurts, and the string can come back and slap you. So be sure that you're always making sure not to dry fire your bows. Another thing you do not want to do is arrow roulette. Arrow roulette is when you have an arrow in your bow, you point it straight up at the sky, you pull back and you release that arrow. This is dangerous because you don't know where that arrow is going because you can't see it in the sun and you can't see where it's going to come down. It could hit you or a friend or an animal. It's very dangerous. Just don't do arrow roulette. All right, so first thing I'm going to be doing is going over the parts of the bow and the arrow. For those of you who don't know, this little piece that I'm holding is called the grip. This is where you hold your hand, okay? On most bows, like this blue one right here, it's a different color. I'm holding the grip right now. All right, if you can see, this little piece right here is called the arrow rest. This is where your arrow lays when you're pulling back the string, okay? This little metal piece right here is called the stabilizer. This is what keeps this one string in place. Now I know this looks like three separate strings, but this is all just one string all put together, wrapped around these wheels, these cams, all right? And if you can't see, this little metal piece is called the notch. When you load your arrow onto your bow, your arrow notch, your notch is this little bright piece. It kind of looks like a U, like a little U. Your notch is going to go under that little nock, that little metal piece on your bow, on the string of the bow, and it's going to lay on your arrow rest, just like that. It's not going to go below it, because then your aim's going to be down, and it's not going to go like way up here onto this thing that holds the arrow rest. Now for the parts of the arrow. Like I said, this is called the notch. It's the little U at the end of the arrow that goes on the string of the bow. These little things right here are called fletchings. That's the proper name for them, but I know they go by many names, like wings, fins, feathers. They go by a lot of names, but the proper name is fletchings. This green piece right here, this long part of the arrow is called the shaft. This is what keeps the tip, the very pointy part of the arrow, intact. Now when you're loading your bow, what you're going to do is you can see that there are three different colored fletchings on this arrow. Two of them are the same color and one is a different color. The one that's a different color is going to be facing up away from the two strings. The white one on this arrow is going to be facing up towards you. All right, so now for our whistle commands. We have four main whistle commands that we use during archery. The first one, I will call your name up. If we were at camp, I would call your name up and you would come and stand on the line. Now if you're right-handed, if you were here at camp, you would be facing the airplane. If you were left-handed, you would be facing the opposite way. You'd be facing towards the lake. So once you get up to the line, I'm going to blow the whistle twice. This means that you are going to pick up the bow and you're going to place it on your toe. But there's a way to do this. You remember the stabilizer when I was going over the parts of the bow? Well, the stabilizer, the metal piece on the bow, is going to be towards the ground. If it's up like this, towards the sky, that means the bow's upside down. It's hard to shoot. It's almost impossible to shoot. So remember to keep it towards the ground and place it on your toe. If you're wearing sandals, you can place it on the edge of your sandal. If you're wearing tennis shoes, place it on the tip of your toe in your tennis shoes. Next, when I see that everyone has their bows on their toes and they are the right way up, I will blow the whistle once. That means fire. That means you are now able to shoot your bow. All right, so whenever I see that everyone has their bow facing the right way and that the stabilizer is towards the ground, I will blow the whistle once. That means you are now able to fire. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pick your bow up, hold it by the grip. You're gonna grab your arrow out of the arrow holder. Do you remember your white fletching? Well, that's gonna face you when you're loading it. The nock's gonna go below the notch, and your arrow's gonna lay on the arrow rest. Now that you're in this position, you're gonna make sure that you have a wide stance. So that means your feet are shoulder width apart, facing in the same direction, and that your shoulders are back. Almost kind of like you're trying to show off your muscles. Once you get in that position, you're gonna stick your arm out that's holding the bow, and you're gonna place 3 fingers underneath the arrow. Do you guys everyone remember Katniss? Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games? Well, she did this. It's kind of like the 3-finger whistle salute that she does in the books and the movies. You're gonna take those 3 fingers and you're gonna place them underneath that arrow that's right underneath that nock. All right? Once you have your arm out and your 3 fingers under, keep your arm straight that's holding the bow. Don't bend it, because if you bend it, it's gonna be harder to pull that arrow back. Keep your arm out straight and pull that arrow back all the way to your cheek, okay? Don't pull it back past your ear, because then it's gonna overshoot that arrow. And don't barely pull it back, because then it's not gonna really shoot that far. It's just gonna go plop into the ground. All right, once you have it back to here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look down that arrow, and you're gonna put that tip of the arrow into the center of the target. And whenever you're ready to shoot, you're just gonna straighten your fingers, just like that. Once you are done shooting all your arrows, you're gonna lay your bow down and you would wait for your 3rd whistle command. The 3rd whistle command is 3 whistles. That means it is safe to walk down the range and go get your arrows. So when you get down to your target, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your foot that's closest to the target and lay it right in front of it to keep it from moving forward. And you're gonna take your hand that's also closest to the target. Do you see that little upside down L that my hand is making? Well, when you go to grab your arrow, you're gonna place that hand flat on the target, and that arrow is gonna go up in between that little groove of your thumb and forefinger. Then you're gonna pull it out and just pull it straight out. Pull the arrow straight out. Don't bend it up, don't bend it down or side to side, because that will break your arrows. Okay, now once you have all your arrows laying on the ground, you're gonna pick them all up. Make sure that they're all in the same direction. So your fletchings are facing towards the sky, and that your pointy ends, your tips, are facing towards the ground. Then you're gonna even them out on the target. Then you're gonna place them in one of your hands with the fletchings facing up and the tips of the arrows in your hands. You're gonna hold them out, turn them upside down, bend your arm, and put them behind your back. Now that you have all these arrows behind your back, do you know what you look like? You look like a turkey. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna gobble all the way back to your arrow holder to put your arrows up. For those of you at home, I wanna see your gobbles. Send us videos of your gobbles, all right? And then once you get back to your arrow holder, you're gonna take your arrows and put the tips down into the arrow holder, and then you're done. You can go sit down.
Gracie, thank you for your hard work. I'm sure I know the kids here enjoyed it, but I'm sure the kids at home enjoyed it. But I think there's one more thing, a surprise you have for them, a project that you could do at home. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, let's go inside and check that out.
All right.
Okay, Gracie, so we're inside. We're gonna do our at-home project for the kids. Kids, I want you to follow along, because Gracie's gonna walk us through how to make your own bow and arrow, right? So show them what it's gonna look like.
All right, so this is your bow. It is made of Q-tips, tape, and rubber bands. And then your arrow is just Q-tips and tape.
So how many Q-tips will the kids need to get this whole project started?
In total, they will need about 8 Q-tips, 6 to make the bow,
Okay.
and 2 to make the arrows.
All right, so we got 6 Q-tips for the bow, 2 for the arrows. What else do we need?
You'll also need rubber bands, or you can use string if you don't have rubber bands, and you'll need tape.
Okay. Any kind of masking, scotch tape, anything like that'll work, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, will you, we've got some extra helpers here. Can you help us make these? So what do we want to do first?
First we need to make our arrows. Everyone grab 2 Q-tips, and you're gonna put them together, end to end, just like this. All right, then we're all gonna get some tape. If y'all wanna lay your Q-tips down, you can. All right, so what you're gonna do once you get your Q-tips, you're gonna take that tape and you're gonna put it right in the center of those 2 Q-tips where they meet. And you're just gonna wrap all that tape around it. It doesn't matter how much you have or how little you have, just wrap it all around those 2 Q-tips where they touch. All right, now that we've all got our arrows made, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay that to the side for right now, and we're gonna pick up 2 more of our Q-tips. What we're gonna do with these, we're gonna keep them side by side, and we're just gonna tape around them, just all the way around them. But we're gonna leave the cotton part of the Q-tips out, because that's gonna help us when we're putting it all together. Okay, now that we have all of the first one done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that to 2 more sets of 2 of our Q-tips. So just grab 2 more and we're gonna do the exact same thing again. All right, you're just gonna continue doing this until all your Q-tips are taped together. All right, now that we've got 3 sets of 2 Q-tips taped together, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them sort of into a C shape. And where each end of the Q-tips touch on the other set of the 2 Q-tips, we're gonna tape those together. So what you can do, you can start out just taping like a little elbow together of your 2 Q-tip sets, and then you just work from there. Now when you're doing this, it might be easier to lay them on top of one another, the cotton parts of the Q-tips, so that they're easier to tape together instead of trying to tape them end to end. Alrighty, so once you have your bow made, it's gonna have 1 set of Q-tips up top, 1 in the middle going straight, and then 1 going down. Now, you're almost done with your project, but all you need is a string so you can fire your arrow. Where are you gonna get that string? Well, that can come from a rubber band or just a simple string you have laying around the house. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take that rubber band, and you remember when I said not to cover up the cotton swabs on the end of your Q-tip? Well, this is gonna help. What you're gonna do is you're gonna separate those 2 cotton swabs just a little bit, and you're gonna slide a piece of that rubber in there and tie it off. Once you get in there, you're just gonna tie it to the rest of the string to make sure it doesn't come loose. All right, once you have that string tied to the first limb, you're gonna take the rest of that string, you're gonna tie it to the bottom limb. And tie it the exact same way you did the first one. Okay, once you have your bow made and your string is attached, all you have to do is just load your arrow onto your bow and you shoot it. Y'all ready?
You ready? Let's shoot them.
3.
Hold on.
Okay, to shoot it, you're gonna take an end of the Q-tip on your arrow, the cotton swab, and you're just gonna put it on that string. And it may be easier to lay your bow down sideways, flat, and shoot it.
Crossbow.
Like a crossbow. 3, 2, 1. No.
Well, mine didn't go anywhere. So, well, Gracie, thank you. Now it's your turn. Now we want to see what you can make and send it to us to our Facebook page. Send it and hashtag Virtual Trooper Island. So until next time, remember, be safe, be kind, and make smart choices.